thank you for tuning in to DivaSpeaks Relationships Talk Show. Thank you, and welcome back to the show. Yes, now, in case you missed it, let me just go ahead and forewarn you. You have just tuned in to the hottest, grown and sexy adult, okay? But the best at keeping it real talk show out of Charlotte, North Carolina, aka the Queen City. Yes, and I want to thank you for tuning in, stopping by and checking out the show. I am the diva of DivaSpeaks Relationships Talk Show. My name is AnGala Portorreal, and I'm super excited. I'm always super excited when we connect together, you and I. Yes, I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that everyone who watches the show is tremendously blessed. I hope that you are entertained, informed, educated, all of that good stuff. I want you to receive the positive vibes that we are going to engage in tonight. Yes, tonight. Now, the diva has been busy, guys. So if you try to check out my show on the 4th Friday of August, which was the last show, my humblest apologies. You know, I had some unforeseen technical difficulties with getting my content to the station in time. That will never happen again, because I got a phone call and I didn't like what was at the end of that call. My girl said, "Girl, I was looking for your show and it was not on." So my humblest apologies for those of you who were actually looking forward to some new content and seeing the diva. My apologies, but I'm here now. You got me. This is you and I. This is our time together. So again, thank you for stopping by and checking out the show tonight. I got something we need to talk about, okay? Yes, but before I get into that, it is my tradition here at the show to always extend a warm thank you to all of those people out there who I've never met before, who have continued to pledge their support and rock with me from the days of the podcast, which is still going strong. Okay, you can find DivaSpeaks Relationships Podcast wherever you get your podcast from. So thank you for to my loyal supporters and fans, to my subscribers across all of my different social media platforms. You are appreciated. I am acknowledging you. That's right. The diva is acknowledging you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I also want to extend a special thank you and shout out to all of my supporters outside of the United States. Oh my God, I see you, Uganda. I see you, Peru. I see you, Brazil. I see you, Australia. The diva thanks you. If I wish you could just see my heart, how big it is and how swollen it is. Just, you know, overwhelmed with the gratitude for you and for you watching the show. Be sure, guys, to tell your friends, your circle, you know, your family about the show, the podcast, the talk show, and the newly formed DivaSpeaks Relationships Ministry. That's right, you heard it here. DivaSpeaks now has a ministry. I still speak about relationships, but I speak about relationships from a faith-based perspective, okay? So yes, I'm super excited about that. The diva has expanded the brand over various platforms, and all of the platforms can be accessed via the Roku channel on television. So, you know, here at Access 21, you know, you go to the Access 21 Roku channel, you can find the diva. You can also find me on my other platforms. I think I still have shows on Empowered Living TV, Kingdom Purpose TV, the Agape Network, as well as the Now Television Network. I am across all of those platforms, so I want to thank all of you. I would hope that you would support the ministry as well. I'm just super excited to be talking about relationships and extending encouragement to those of you who are in need of support and encouraging during your seasons of challenges and struggles. I'm not the person to come to with a problem, whether that is my personal life or in this professional setting of DivaSpeaks Relationships. I'm not one to say, girl, leave that alone. Girl, leave them. I believe in working through the problems. I believe if it is possible to salvage your relationship by putting egos aside and identifying the problems, that most of the time the relationships will work. But anyway, we can talk about that on another day. Again, thank you for stopping by and checking out the show. Make sure that you tell your friends and family while you're talking about the Diva that you can find me right back here on Access 21 every second and fourth Friday of the month at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The various ways to check out the show here on Access 21 as well as my other shows, go to Roku TV, go to the Access 21 channel, and you will find my show. It will be under series, and it will also have some older shows stored. You can also view my shows on the television station's website in the video on demand section. You would simply look to the left hand side of the page, select the video on demand feature, type in the name DivaSpeaks, or the name of the entire show, and it will auto-populate any shows that the station has saved for your viewing pleasure. So I invite you to do that. You can also stream the show live from the television station's website, which is tvaccess21.com. I also have the shows on YouTube after they've aired on the station. I also have the shows on my personal website, which is diva-speaks-official.com. Once again, my website is diva-speaks-official.com. That's right. That is a one-stop shop for all things Diva Speaks related from the podcast. From there, you can access my various social media platforms. Excuse me. There's a contact form if you want to reach out. You can also email me. My official email address is divaspeaksofficial@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, if you want to book a session with me, you want to talk some things over, all of that information is accessible through the website. Again, Roku is the one-stop shop for Diva Speaks. Just know where I'm located and you can find me. Woo, that was a lot. I feel like the show should be over. I am out of breath, but I am super excited that you have decided to join me. If you are new to this show, oh my goodness, I hope I can live up to the hype. So, excuse me, let's get into it. Yes, let's get into it. So tonight's topic is, oh my goodness, excuse me, I don't even know where they come from. Tonight's topic is, so the grass wasn't greener on the other side. That's right, you heard me. Tonight's topic is, so the grass wasn't greener on the other side. So let's get into why we're here tonight and what I'm going to talk about, okay? Let me fix these earrings, y'all, because I know some of y'all be like, Diva, you need to, fix that. Okay, so I was scrolling through social media, as I always do, minding the business that pays me and minding my own business. And I came across this post, and it wasn't the first time that I'd ever come across this post. But on Thursday, it just made a little bit more sense as it connects to the grass wasn't greener on the other side. So the post read, or the meme read, sometimes you have to let go. No, I'm sorry. The post read, sometimes you have to let people go and be with the people that they think so highly of. I know. Some of you might have tuned in because you wanted to hear me talk about this particular topic. And I know when I say that, that's going to resonate and it's going to be painful, but we're going to unpack things as we move along in the discussion. But I need to repeat it because I need to merge them together. The grass wasn't greener on the other side. And the post that I read said that sometimes you have to let people go and be with the people that they think so highly of. Yes, okay, I want you to sit with that for a minute, but I want to remind you, because usually on my podcast, you can't see me with my notes, but I'm visual. You can see me. So you're going to see that sometimes I'm going to glance down at my notes. Okay, Oprah does it. She did it. Wendy does it. Jerry Springer does it. So don't judge me. Okay, don't judge me. So, it's easy to exist in a relationship, to function in a relationship when things are good, when everything is flowing effortlessly. That is just something, it's just easy to do. I have found the more that the business of DivaSpeaks Relationship grows, the more that it grows. The focus seems to be on helping couples and those who have entered seasons of struggle. Because it is during that time or those times that people need the most encouragement. that people need the most direction, that people need someone to connect to that would understand what they are going through, okay? So relationships are ending left and right these days. I think people's tolerance levels for bullshit is at an all-time low. People are identifying narcissistic traits and behaviors. People are drawing the line, establishing boundaries, and saying, this is not what I am going to tolerate in my life, in this season of my life. I'm not going to accept this. A lot of people are looking for peace, and a lot of people are looking for peace, establishing boundaries, and understanding that the relationship that you're in right now does not give you the fulfillment in which you need to be able to be the best person that you can possibly be in that relationship, because there is so much toxic bullshit going on, you know, that it is not an easy place to exist in. And because of that, a lot of people are walking away out of relationships. A lot of people are finding it hard to continue the connection with the person that they're married to, that they are intimate with, that they're claiming their partner, all of that. We understand that, because you get to a certain place in your life where you understand that, you know what, all of this is too much. Maybe we just need a break. Maybe we need a break from each other to be able to go to our neutral corners, identify the self-destructive behavior patterns that we're bringing to the relationship or that we bring out in one another, see if we can fix them, and then we can come back and see if we can fix this thing. That happens. Okay, we get that. Don't you get that? Like, there are times when breaks are needed and celebrated. There are times when a separation is warranted in your relationship. We all get that, because, child, I don't care how much you love a person. There are times when that person can get on your nerves. And separations doesn't always need to be a bad thing, especially when the two of you can agree on it. We get that, okay? You know, separations can have advantages such as working on your flaws or your insecurities that you bring into the relationship that have now manifested in the relationship and causing problems. Okay, insecurity will cause problems in a relationship. If that is a source of tension in your relationship, maybe a break is okay for you, because sometimes counseling, a counselor, therapy, you know, one-on-one sessions with a professional can help you to get to the root of whatever problem that is now making your relationship a hard place to exist in and making you just a little bit hard to live with. We get that too. You know, with all of that said, there's a point where you say, okay, if we need to take a break, or if there are problems that we are having in this relationship, that's one thing. But if you are acting out, if you are causing problems, creating problems, wanting to argue, starting arguments, all because you want out of the relationship, because you have identified another person that you want to be with, now there's a problem. Okay, there's a problem. You know, let me just go ahead and say right now that every one of us have a choice. No one belongs to anyone. I mean, each one of us, whether you're married, whether you're in a long-term committed relationship where you've been with a person for years, whether you have children together, you know, you're living under the same roof, you've made a commitment to one another. There is nothing in this world that's stopping from either one of you from waking up and deciding that you don't want to do that anymore. You just want out of the commitment. You want out of the covenant. You want out of the relationship. So be it. Okay. No one has the right to hold you hostage. We get that. But there comes a point when people want to play games. You know, that is the conversations I've been having with about 3 or 4 of the women that I have been coaching. You know, when you want to leave a relationship for no other good reason than you want to go out and have sex with another person, you think that the other person that you have your eye on, that you've developed a sexual connection with, You think life is going to be better. You think the grass is going to be greener. You think that this person has an advantage over the person that you've been with. Maybe there are financial benefits to you being with this other person. Maybe the sex is better. Maybe they have a better body. Maybe he has a better body. Maybe he has a better vehicle. Maybe he has a larger bank account. Whatever the reasons that you are wanting to leave your current relationship, abandon that relationship and go with somebody else, that is totally your business. That is a choice that you can make, okay? You get to choose, you get to decide. But understand this, and I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of different people who have been on the receiving end of such shitty behavior. You can walk away and run away with whoever you choose. But understand that the person who you left has the absolute right to tell you no, F yourself, okay? I said that with a smile. Whenever you decide that whoever you was running to didn't work out. You see, the things that you decided to walk away from, you should have thought about it before you left. The temptation that you allowed yourself to indulge in, you should have thought about it before you left. You valued, okay, self-gratification, sexual gratification over your relationship. You valued that temporary fix over your commitment and your covenant. So you do not have the right to come back and say, I made a mistake. It wasn't what I thought it was. You see, the problem is that a lot of people, they go out and they jeopardize their relationship. They tear up their homes, they tear down the relationship, they break up their families, all for one person that they put all their eggs in one basket. And then when it don't work out, now you want to crawl back to the person that you devastated. You ran to the arms of another. You went to the bed of another man. You went to the bed of another woman. And when it didn't work out, or because it wasn't what you thought it wasn't as pleasing. It wasn't as satisfying. It wasn't as gratifying as you envisioned. Now, everything that you walked away from comes back to the forefront of your mind. So you got what you wanted, but it wasn't what you expected. You see, there's a cost that you didn't calculate when you abandon a relationship and you want to come back. You wanted to test the water. You wanted to have your fun. You wanted to cheat, but not have the consequences of having your conscience, okay, eat away at you. You wanted all of that. And you jeopardize your future with the person that you was in a relationship with because the grass wasn't greener on the other side. You see, everything you took for granted, now you want it back. Now you want your man back. Now you want your man back. You was nitpicking with him at first. You was lying to him, and every chance you got, lying like you out with your homegirls, lying like you had to work late, lying like you needed money to go get your hair done when you was laying up in somewhere with a dude. You was lying like you was hanging out with your boys. You was lying like you was going fishing or hunting with your boys. All the while, you was creeping, okay, making plans and spending time with another. And now that the lies have caught up with you, now, okay, that the truth has been revealed, now that you have discovered that what you tore up on the home front, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth losing your partner. It wasn't worth losing your man. It wasn't worth losing your woman. It wasn't worth destroying your family. It wasn't worth the look of hurt that you put on the person's face, okay, that you allegedly love. And I say allegedly because it's called into question. Because if you really love the person that you walked away from, love would have prevented you from doing half of the shit that you done. But you did it anyway because you wanted to know what it felt like over there on the other side. You wanted to know how it would feel laying up with this one, laying up with that one, not being held accountable for your whereabouts, not being held accountable for the lies that you're being caught in, not being held accountable for acting reckless, not being held accountable for not okay? Taking care of your responsibilities, okay? You didn't want to be held accountable for any of that. Instead, you always picked with your partner that you walked away from, saying that they were nagging, saying that he was being so controlling, when all the while, this person is trying to understand why you've done a 180 on them. But now you want to look back. Now it wasn't so bad after all, was it? Now he's not that controlling after all, is he? Okay? So what gives you the right to come back and say, I want another chance? You want another chance to do what? You want another chance to come back and emotionally devastate your partner again? And for those of you who have been on the receiving end of somebody leaving you for another person, let's just call it for what it is. You didn't deserve it. Oh, hell no, you didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve half any of the lies and the bullshit that they put you through. You didn't deserve any of it. But you know what? They were willing to put you through it just so they could get what they wanted. They were willing to devastate and break your heart just so they could bust a nut. They were willing to do it. They did it. They did everything they wanted to do. And you know what? It still didn't bring them the lasting satisfaction and gratification that they thought that it would. It didn't. So they want to come back at the expense of what? At the expense of breaking your heart again? At the expense of broken trust? At the expense of you not having peace? At the expense of you never know if they're going to turn around and do the same thing to you again? Let me warn you. Let me warn you. When a person walks out like that, when a person leaves you for another, that meant that number one, they don't have discipline. They don't have discipline. They don't honor the commitment they've made with you, whether that is a long-term committed relationship and or the marriage covenant. They didn't honor those vows like you did. They didn't protect the relationship. And for those of you who have been rocking with me for a while, you know protecting your relationship, that is my motto. That is what I stand on, protecting and safeguarding your relationship. They allowed their lust, they allowed their flesh to take over, okay? To take over and consume them to the point that they were willing to indulge in infidelity, to indulge in adultery, just to be able to satisfy it. They needed to satisfy that flesh. And here's the thing, why go over there and get from somebody else what you already got at home, only to be dissatisfied with what you broke up your home for, and now you want to come back? Who the hell do you think you are? That is the biggest question. Who the hell do you think you are, and what gives you the right to take a person through that? And let me warn you, for those of you who have been on the receiving end of such a tragedy, be careful when they come back. Be careful, because you taking a person back before discovering all the lies, discovering all the deeds that were done behind your back and while they were away, being able to sit down, discuss it, work through it, identify the problem, the root of the problem, go to counseling, go to therapy, allowing this person to manifest that they truly are repentant for their behavior. If you prematurely accept them back into your life, your home, your bed, your arms, you're inviting trouble to revisit you. You're inviting that person to take another stab at your heart. You're inviting that person, okay, with unresolved issues to come back and betray you once again. And I've heard this saying a lot of times, you know, over the course of the year. I guess it started me being totally, you know, aware of, people getting this. Don't you dare go running back to something or someone that you had to pray your way through it to get out of it. Don't you dare go back to something or someone that broke you, that you had to pray your way out of it. If your prayer included any of the following: God, if you just get me through this. God, if you could just help me get out of this. My heart is hurting so bad. If a person has broke you down so emotionally where you couldn't eat, you couldn't sleep, you couldn't focus, anything was a trigger that would cause you to burst out into tears, or you would cry, or you just had those days where you didn't want to leave your house, the days where you just wanted to sit with the blinds drawn, the days that you were so emotionally devastated that you couldn't even be a parent to your small children in the home, the days that you didn't want to leave the house, the days that you didn't feel like cooking for yourself or your family, the days that you didn't feel like going to work. If you went through any of this, don't you dare let that person back into your life without doing the work and requiring them to do the work. You see, the problem with a lot of these people are, number one, they're narcissistic, or they have a lot of narcissistic traits. Number two, they just want to walk back into your life without having to do the work, without having to put in the work, without having to take the steps necessary to rebuild the relationship, to rebuild the trust, to mend the foundation. They just want back in. And let me tell you how you will know if they are true and if they are committed to the success of the relationship the second time around. If you tell this person, this is what I need you to do, these are the steps that we need to take, and after the first few or couple of times that they've done it, now they're irritated, now they don't want to do that, now they're talking down on the plan that you both agreed to try to mend the relationship, to try to rehabilitate the relationship, it's not the one. It's not the one. Because a person that broke the relationship, a person who is responsible for the demise of the relationship, the person who bears the burden of the bulk of the responsibility for the relationship crumbling, should be willing to put in the work. If you're willing to consider taking this person back, then you better make damn sure that they're willing to put in the effort and the work to make sure that you two will never have to revisit this issue again. Because let me tell you, temptation will always be there for you and for your partner, for you and for your spouse. Temptation will never die. You can't tell God to pray temptation out of your life. He will assist you in being able to flee temptation. That's a means of escape has been promised to you in the Bible, but that's for my DivaSpeaks Ministry channel. But listen, if this person has fallen short by way of, not being able to say no to the opposite sex once they're turned on, if they find a member of the opposite sex attractive, or same sex, if they find them attractive, there's something within that person that makes them want to pursue another. If you get back with that person, that joker, that heifer, without them proving to you that they know how to act accordingly, that they're not going to be out here in these streets making you look stupid, you don't need to take them back. They haven't learned anything. They haven't learned anything other than how to go out and cheat and be able to sweet talk you and get back into your arms, get back into the relationship, get back into the house, get back into the bed, get back in between your legs with minimal to no effort. That's the only thing they would have learned. You have to establish boundaries when somebody has crossed boundaries, crossed you, tore up the home, devastated you, made you look like a fool out here. They need to do the work, and you need to require that they put in the work. If they're not willing to put in the work, I'm getting all tongue-tied. I need some water. But anyway, if they're not willing to put in the work, if they're not willing to be committed, totally invested in the relationship, I can almost bet you that they're going to be prone to doing this again, and you're going to be devastated once more if you do not require that they put in the work. And I'm only talking to those who may be considering, giving that person another chance. And now there are those of you like me, if you cross me like that, you might as well just keep on walking, because you have to understand your worth and your value. If I'm not worth anything else, I'm worth it it's worth it to me. Okay. My worth is to have a peace of mind. My worth is, you know what? I need to be okay at the end of the day to continue on with my own life without being emotionally devastated by the bullshit that you do behind my back. That is what I owe AnGala. And there are those of you who could identify with that. It's like, okay, you had one chance, one shot to get it right. You didn't have to mess it up, but you did. Okay, I forgive you. But forgiveness, okay, doesn't automatically mean restoration or reconnection. I don't have to reconnect with you to forgive you. I can forgive you and keep it pushing. I can forgive you and wish you well. I can want to see you eat. You just can't eat with me. You understand? Because what a person has to learn is you have to value what that person brought to the table. You have to value the person that you decided to initially invest in. You decided to share your life. You decided to share, your home, a lifestyle with this person. And during your season of struggle, you decided to dip out. You decided to break and fracture the relationship to the point of it almost being either is not repairable or it's not. Is or is not. But either way, people do not owe the person who devastated the relationship to the point of demise. They don't owe you another chance. Okay? Especially when you get over there. I'm just giving you an example. You get over there, okay, let's just say you left Tanya, okay, and you went over here to be with Tia. You left Tanya, okay, yes, she's been getting on your nerves. Yes, Tanya may have, gained a few pounds over the years. Yes, Tanya stayed on your back about different things because Tanya was invested into seeing you be the best person possible. Tanya knew your potential. Tanya knew the dreams that you had been speaking of all of your adult life, especially during your relationship. Tanya was noticing that you weren't focused on your priorities. Tanya noticed that your actions and your attitude had changed. So Tanya, being the best partner that she could be, was pushing you to do better. But you left her for Tia. Tia who don't give a damn about your dreams. Tia who don't give a damn about your health. Tia who don't greet you at the door when you get off from a hard day's work with a nice cold cocktail or beer. Tia who doesn't believe in cooking you a nice hot meal but demands that you take her out to a 5-star restaurant on demand. Tia who doesn't care that you got $100 left in your pocket to make it to the end of the week and she wants all of it just to go get her nails done. But Tanya over here knew the value of $1. Tanya didn't mind the struggle when times got hard. Tanya was totally invested into the relationship, but you abandoned the real for the fake. So sometimes you have to put up with what you settled for. You settle for fake. And that goes for the guys too. For the women too. You leave, you walk out on a good man. You mistreat that man because his bank account wasn't big enough. You mistreating that man because he's not spending as much time with you as you would like because he's working multiple jobs just to make sure all the bills are paid, to make sure that you have a roof over your head, to make sure that you have some of the things, if not all of the things that you want. This man is out here working hard to take care and raise the children and the family that you guys got together. He's putting the kids through school. He's making sure that everybody is good. So when he goes out that door to make a living, he doesn't have to worry about what's going on the home front because you're supposed to have that. But no, you didn't want him. You wanted the guy with the flashy car, the alleged big bank account. And that's what you ended up with. A guy with a boatload of women who all want the same thing from him, which is his money, and he don't want none of you. Each of you serve a purpose for each day of the week. And that's all that you were. And so when he discarded you, now you want to come back home to the hardworking man whose heart you broke? You devastated this man. You walked all over this man. You treated this man as if he was nothing, and now you want him back? Sis, leave him alone. Save it for the next woman out here who's going to value that, who's going to add to that, who's going to compliment his hustle, who's going to see that, oh, okay, so you got this dream? Let me see what I got. What skill set do I possess that I can come in and help my baby with this so we can be a power couple together? See, that is the kind of grown folks shit that a lot of people are on. People are wanting to pool their resources together, their skill sets together to see if it's a match. So what kind of force to be reckoned with can we be in society? You know, if we match these hustles, if we, we combine this hustle, how much money is there to be made? What type of future can we not only have for our children, for our family, but for ourselves? Investing in one another, investing in our future, investing in more investing. It's about being able to complement one another without draining one another. And while you were out here playing games with the person that you was into a relationship with heart, this person, while they cried many nights wondering why would you do them like that, while they couldn't even sleep a full night's rest because they were worried about who you was laying up with, this person was slowly getting over your bullshit. This person, more than likely, especially if they're under me, if they listen to my content, this person has been praying to the Almighty God to help them heal their heart so that they don't have any bitterness towards you as they move on with their life. This person has probably been praying, asking God to allow forgiveness to come into their heart and praying for your salvation while you are here doing your dirt. But all the while that they were healing, all the while that God has been ministering to their heart, guess what? They were healing and being made whole again. They were healing and making plans for the future. They were healing and learning a lesson. They were healing and being educated. They were healing and making a plan. They were healing and being able to say, God, I want to receive love again. I want to be able to love again. And the next person that I get with, I don't want to bring this baggage to the relationship on the next one, because I'm going to trust God, okay, to favor me. I'm going to trust God's word when it says that you're going to reap what you sow, whether that is good or bad. What I refuse to do is bleed on somebody that didn't cut me. That's what they were doing while you were out here playing games, acting a fool, being sexually irresponsible, okay, being wild out here in these streets, making the person that you were in a relationship with hurt to the point of having to fall on their knees in prayer. Ooh, how good do you feel about yourself if you are one of these people that I'm speaking of? How good must you feel about yourself to have broken the very person that you promised to protect, that you promised to love, that you promised to take care of, and you did the total opposite? So no, you don't have a right to come back into their life. I said it and I meant it. You don't have a right. And if that person should allow you to even be a part of their life in any capacity, you better thank God that that's what you're getting. You better not push it, because you went too far the day that you left that person thinking that the grass was greener on the other side. You see, my friend, sometimes the best thing you really can do is let a person go, not only to be with the people that they think so highly of, but to go and be disappointed by the people that they think so highly of. You know, God has a way of making a person reap what they sow. That person that they were willing to mistreat you for, that person that they were willing to throw your relationship away for, has a way of making a fool out of them, has a way of bringing that person or persons, I probably said that right, to their knees. If you want to leave for somebody else, understand that the door is there for you to do whatever you need to do. Open it, walk through it, leave the key, don't come back. But understand, when you get disappointed over there, when you find out that grass is really fake, when you find out that shit withered, don't come back this way when things are good over here. Because what I have seen, and when I've been talking to different people, especially the 4 women that I've been engaged with, and by the way, ladies, this one is for you. Women have been on this glow up vibe. You know, women are, what's the old saying? The edges growing back, skin clearing up, bossing up, building more credit. You know what I'm saying? Building the business, starting the business, getting the degree, getting back in shape, fine-tuning that body. I mean, women have been on some real glow up type activities with the anointing of the Holy One, okay? The Almighty God. Because it's something about Men, what you don't understand, it's something about when you break a woman down to the point where you broke her down. Okay, let's visualize. You broke her down. She was standing in a relationship with you. She was standing by your side. She was standing behind you. She had your back. She was standing with you against the world. She was standing in unison with you in this life, the one that you two were creating. But once you broke her down where she was no longer standing, you broke her down to where either she was on her knees out of begging you to stay, not understanding, falling on her knees and crying, not understanding why any of this was going on. She used that to her advantage. And ladies, if the same works in the reverse. This man had your back. This man was standing with you. This man was doing everything that he was supposed to do. This man was being a real man in a world full of maggots. You had a real one and you broke him down. Same applies to that man. When he was no longer standing with you, when he was no longer able to stand because of the tremendous amount of pain that you have caused him with your reckless behavior, he, like the woman that was broke down, used that to his advantage. While he was down, he decided to get into position. She decided to get down on their knees. They began to utilize knees and said, I'm going to fall on my face. I am on my knees, begging God to get me out of this mess. It wasn't what I thought it was. They are not who I thought they were. This was a total tragedy. I invested all this time. I invested my heart. I shared my life, my bed with you, my dreams, my emotions, my deepest secrets. I shared with you things that I shared with no other. And this is how you repay me, with a betrayal that didn't even work out for your benefit, a betrayal that you used to break me. But I decided to bow down to the Most High and get the upper hand. That's right. When you do people dirty, don't be caught off guard when God elevates them. Because just as I have a sermon on my ministry channel that's the title is that breakup was actually your breakthrough. Sometimes when a person betrays you and you end up breaking up behind it, that breakup is what God uses to bless you and elevate you to another dimension and a level of prosperity that you had never seen before. He gave you double for your trouble. So don't you dare go back running to the thing that God allowed you to escape from and delivered your heart from all of that pain without them paying the price. And you know what? I want to say this too. And if I offend you, it is not my intent to offend anyone that watches my show, because I love the support. I'm not here to step on any toes, but I do want to say this. I want to say this because I need to be real with you. People do make mistakes, okay? People do make mistakes. And the mistakes that people make are not always ideal. It's, people's weaknesses are not our weaknesses. They may have fallen short in an area that you have no problem remaining strong. This is your strength. This is their weakness. I understand that. I totally get that. People do, fall short. People do sin. Sometimes it's intentionally. Sometimes it's unintentionally. But for those of you who would consider taking a person who has devastated you to that capacity back, let me tell you something. I need you to listen to me, and I need you to remember this. They still, regardless as to whether you take them back or not, especially if you're going to invite them back into your life, they still have to reap what they sow. They still have to answer to God. So what you cannot do is get in God's way of this person reaping what they sow. You understand me? Stay out of God's business. Stay out of God's business. If this person has been guilty of wrongdoing, not only against you, especially if you're married, against the Holy Covenant, this person has been guilty of that. That person is not remorseful of that. At one particular time, this person was blatant with what they were doing. They didn't care who knew. They didn't care who found out. They didn't care how it was affecting you. They didn't care how it devastated you. They didn't care what the Bible said about it. They didn't care how God felt about it. They did what they wanted to do. They did it for however long they wanted to do it until they got tired and or disappointed. We get it. It's cool. Do you, boo? But understand, just because you have forgiven them doesn't mean that they are not going to reap what they sow. And don't you dare stand in the way of God casting down judgment on said individuals. Stay out of God's business, stay out of God's way, because you don't want no smoke with God. You understand me? You taking that person back has nothing to do with that person having to reap what they sow, and they shall. And I need you to remember that when you taking a person back, if that is what you choose to allow them, and I'm not even saying back into a relationship, so much as, yeah, you saw I'm at home, honey, I got on my footies. I'm not even talking about accepting them back into your bed or a relationship, back into your life in any capacity. There still has to be a level of trust that has to be reestablished between the two of you. Again, we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect, and we all need to be in relationships where there is a freedom, not to intentionally, but the freedom to make a mistake without the person that you're in a relationship with taking their love away. That's fear that a lot of people live with. If I make a mistake, they're gonna walk out on me. If I make a mistake, I'm gonna lose my family. If I make a mistake, they're not gonna love me as much. If I make a mistake, then I don't know what's gonna happen. No one wants to be in that frame of mind when they're in a relationship with a person that they're committed to and they love. People need to be free to make mistakes because we all sin and fall short of God's glory. But, however, you can't be out here intentionally making mistakes. Just allow people to be people and have room for grace. We all need to have room for grace. We all need to have, the capacity to forgive people, even if it doesn't mean reconnecting or rebuilding that type of relationship with them. Forgiveness is required. And remember, forgiveness is not for them. It doesn't mean they get off scot-free. Forgiveness is for us. Forgiveness is for you on the receiving end. Forgiveness is for the woman or the man who has been on the receiving end of someone betraying them. Forgiveness is so that they can stand upright before God and say, God, I did the right thing. I forgave that person. I wish them well. I do not wish to continue the journey with them, but it is my hope, Father, that they would find their way back to you and do the right thing. Oh my, I hope that, this has been a source of encouragement for those on both sides of the fence, because relationships require work. They require understanding. They require sometimes loving unconditionally. They require you being able to understand your mate's strengths and weaknesses, being able to identify, things when their moods have shifted, when the vibe in the house has shifted, when the relationship atmosphere has shifted, being so connected to your spouse and your partner that when things are starting to look a little bit different for a little bit too long. Ergo, this is why I preach on all of my platforms, whether that is the ministry, the podcast, or this show, protecting your relationship from improper influences, bad friends. And I'm going to say it, bad friends. Some of you out there are asking for trouble. You may not have left your person for another person yet, or you may have left your person for another person for the 100th times and keep promising them that you're going to change. But if you have a gang of friends that all they do is cheat on their people, cheat on whoever they're with, or they're leaving whoever they're with for the next person and the next person, and so on and so forth, you're asking for trouble. And to the person that is in a relationship with said individual, you're asking for your heart to be broken, because birds of a feather flock together. How the hell all of her friends cheat on their men, but she is not a cheater? I don't care what you say. I know what the Bible says. 1 Corinthians 15:33, go look it up. It warns us about improper influences. If you want to know the true character and what your person is really about, check out their friends. If they have a group of friends, all of them are in healthy, as far as healthy marriages, happy, thriving marriages. Everybody is committed to living the best life possible. No drama, no chaos, no backstabbing, no betrayals, no outside babies, no outside children, no outside influences, that's a good bunch of friends to have. And you usually can tell what type of relationship you're going to have based on the type of relationship that they have outside of your relationship. But if you got one full of that other mess, you can bet 9 times out of 10 he or she is just like them. Because again, birds of a feather flock together. Watch the people that you are hanging around. Watch the people who has access to your home, who has a platform in your life, who has the ability to speak to you, to speak to you about your life, who has access to you to be able to influence your thoughts and your beliefs and the atmosphere in your home, or the way that you would interact with your mate. Because if these people, are not in alignment with God's will for your life, if these people are out here conducting themselves recklessly, they don't care about how they treat their partner, they don't care about how they treat their spouse, they don't care how it affects their spouse or their partner, bad people. I said it, I meant it. Bad people to be aligning yourself with, bad people to be hanging out with. You can love them from a distance, but you can't bring that mess over here. Yeah, so the takeaways from, I want you to take away tonight. Listen, I got to read some of these notes. Never run back to the person that broke you. And if you are going to take them back, there needs to be a plan that the both of you develop and come up with, and a strategy, and it needs to be monitored, and it needs to be worked through to completion. Never run back to something that broke you without it being the problem being addressed and resolved and fixed. Okay? The things that they took for granted, that they walked away from. You need to talk about what you bring to the table. Let's revisit this relationship. In addition to you betraying the relationship and leaving it, we need to sit down and figure out now, are we on the same page? Do we want the same things? Is this even fixable? Just because you want something doesn't mean it's fixable. Just because you want something doesn't mean it's going to work. Just because you want something doesn't mean that person really wants it. Find out if they're thoroughly invested, because it was apparent that they weren't before. So what has changed on their end that would make them be fully invested, 100% connected this time around? The grass wasn't greener when they got over there with who they left you for. But if they run across somebody else, will they walk out on you again? Will they double check and do their due diligence on the person that they're going to leave you for the next time to make sure it's worth leaving you for? Or are they going to learn how to be disciplined in their flesh so that this will never happen again? Do they value your relationship? Do they value your feelings and you as a person over self-gratification? That is something that has to be determined and established by the both of you. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of DivaSpeaks Relationships Talk Show. It has been my thorough pleasure to sit here and talk with you on this Friday night. I tried to keep it together for you guys, not show too much, but give you a little skin. Don't forget to tell all your friends and family in your circle about the show. We will, come back here the fourth Friday of the month. Remember, every second and fourth Friday, my show airs here on Access 21. I have some upcoming guests as we, move further into the year. A lot of things have been delayed. A lot of things keep happening, but you know what? I trust God's timing, God's divine timing. Whoever is supposed to be a guest on this show will make it. I want you to stay tuned and stay connected. Still get excited. My future divas will be here. It's just taking a little bit of time, guys. Don't forget to check out DivaSpeaks Relationship Ministries. You can find all of them on Roku TV, on the Roku channel for the Now Television Network, Kingdom Purpose TV, the Agape Network, as well as Empowered Living TV as well. Thank you for stopping. I'm getting tongue-tied. I want to thank you for stopping by and checking out DivaSpeaks Relationships Talk Show. I am the Diva, AnGala Portorreal. Thank you. Much love. Good night.